Okay, as a dog prize, I'm going to give this wonderful inscribed chest and fine workmanship to the person who can fit in it, because he knows what's going to happen, right? So the other gods all try to get in and they can't fit, they're too big or too small. And as soon as Osiris gets in, Set's 72 compatriots come rushing forward, and they slam the lid on and they nail it down, and that's the end of Osiris. Now the 72 is interesting, of course, because it's 1/5 of 360, right? So we won't go into that. And the Egyptians always drew, when they drew stars, they always drew them 5-pointed, right? Always 5-pointed, never 6, never 4, never 8. When you look on all the things, it's always 5. And there's a story that I heard, just to make the connection, there's a story that I heard, which I can't substantiate, it's interesting, because the official story is actually the opposite. But the story I heard was that, from an esoteric source, was that when George Washington commissioned the flag from Betsy Ross, the first iteration of the flag had 6-pointed stars. And George said, "No, sorry, Betsy, I need 5." Right? And she redid the flag with 5, and today we have 5. With the Egyptian, in other words, he wanted the Egyptian method, not the Hebrew method, right? The references were pretty clear, you know. They're going all over, these guys are going, of course he was the Grand Master of Freemasonry in the United States. So what can I tell you about that? All right, so so now Set is in, what's his name? Osiris is in the coffin, and they throw the coffin in the Nile. The 72 compatriots throw the coffin into the Nile, and it floats down, sort of Moses-like. It floats down, and it beaches in the city of Byblos in Syria. Now this is actually Lebanon, I think. I'm not sure where Byblos exactly is, but that part of what used to be Syria is now Lebanon. I won't go into how all the names of all the countries have been changed. And since it's mostly the Brits who did this, by the way. They had a conference in 1890, and then they had another conference after World War I, and they renamed everything in the world. And they rebounded everything in the world. So the mess that we're in today, if you want to look at the Middle East and it's a horrible mess, you can thank Whitehall, basically, for that mess. Because they're the ones who did it after World War I. They created all the countries that are now fighting. They created Lebanon, right, as a gift to the Christian interests. So Lebanon is a fiction, basically. It's Syria. Anyway, they decided. But again, the connection, you know, it's the same place. And of course, King Solomon gets his wood from what is called Lebanon. Right? He gets the cedar from Lebanon. So this is the same place where Osiris lands, where the body of Osiris lands. And the coffin becomes enclosed in a tree. A tree grows around the coffin. It grows up. And the king of Byblos is attracted to this tree because of the aroma, the incense aroma of the tree, right? So he cuts it down. He doesn't know Osiris is in there. He cuts it down, and he uses it as a support in his palace. He uses it as a pillar. So this is, again, it's this idea of support of the state, right? The state and the architecture have an integration, right? The state is the backdrop. I mean, the architecture is the backdrop of the state.